Today we're crocheting a simple bow. For the free written pattern, you can visit my website vivcrochets.com or click the link in the description below. The bow we're making in this tutorial is about 7.5 centimeters wide and 9 centimeters tall or long, but this pattern is really easy to adjust to any size, so I'll let you know when and what you need to change the size of your bow. For example, here is a smaller bow that I made just by doing fewer chains and fewer rows. For this project, I'm using just under 10 grams of Red Heart Super Saver yarn in the color Aran, and this is a number 4 or medium weight yarn, and you can use any yarn you want, but if you do want the same size bow as me, then make sure you're using a number 4 weight yarn. And I'll also be using a 5.5mm hook, some scissors, and a yarn needle. And if you want to make yours into a keychain, you'll need a keychain clasp, and this one is really nice because you don't need pliers, and I'll link everything in the description below. First, we're going to make a slip knot, and to make a slip knot, place the yarn over your hand with the tail end at the bottom. Then grab the yarn with your thumb and make sure you have at least this long under your thumb. Then grab the top and wrap it around 2 fingers to form an X. And then you can hold the yarn with your pinky, and then using your hook, go under one side of the X, and then over, grab the other side, and pull it through. Then remove your fingers, and tighten the knot. And now we're going to chain 21. And to chain, yarn over, and pull through the loop on your hook. Again, yarn over and pull through. So there's 2 chains, and we're going to keep chaining until we have 21 chains. So here are my 21 chains, and if you fold it in half, like this is going to be the length of your bow. And if you do want a smaller bow, you can do fewer chains, or you can do more chains for a bigger bow. This is the one we're making with the 21 chains, and this one was made with 16 chains. So it's a little bit smaller. So after our 21 chains, we're going to do a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So this is the first chain from the hook, and this is the second chain from the hook. And we're going to insert our hook into this second chain. So just go through the V and just under the top loop, like that, yarn over, pull through, and you should have 2 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. And that's our first single crochet. Now we can move on to the next chain, this one, and we're going to do the same thing. So again, insert your hook into the chain, yarn over, pull through, then yarn over and pull through the 2 loops on your hook. And we're going to continue this all the way across, so we'll work into the next chain and do a single crochet, and we'll just continue doing a single crochet into every chain. So here is my first row, and we should have a total of 20 stitches, and you can count them using the V's at the top. We're going to do a total of 4 rows. So to start every new row, we're going to chain 1, and then turn. And then we're going to be working under the V's at the top of each stitch. So if you look at the top, you can see these V's going across. And this very first V right here is the chain we just made, so we're not working into that, we're working into this V right here. And we're going to do a single crochet into every stitch. So we're going to go in from the side and under that V at the top, and then we're going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through the 2 loops on our hook. And then we can move on to the next stitch. So again, go in from the side, under the V of the next stitch, and do a single crochet. And we're going to do 1 single crochet into each stitch. And at the end of the row, people tend to miss the very last stitch, so it might look like you're done, but there is one more V. You can see it's not fully straight. There's one more V right here, this one right here, and we're going to make sure that we work into that final stitch. And now you can see it's straight. And we should still have a total of 20 single crochets in this row. Now to start our third row of single crochets, we're going to chain 1 and turn. And just like with last row, we're going to skip this chain 1 that we just made and start working under this next V. So in from the side, under that V, and do a single crochet. And we'll do a single crochet into every stitch. And there is our third row of single crochets. And we have one more row to do. So again, we'll chain 1 and turn and do a single crochet into every stitch. And now we have 4 rows of single crochet. And if you want to make this part of your bow wider, then you can do more rows. And now we're going to fasten off, but we're going to make sure that we cut a long loose end. So to fasten off, we're going to chain 1. And we're going to measure out about 1.5 feet of yarn, or about 45 centimeters. So there's a foot, and then about 1/2, and then we'll cut our yarn here. And then we're going to pull through with our hook and tighten the knot. So this piece that we just made is going to be this part of the bow, just folded in half. And then the next piece that we're going to make is going to end up being the tail. And you can customize it just like when we made this part. You can do fewer chains than 21 to make this tail shorter, or you can do more chains to make it longer. And then the same way you can add more rows to make this wider, or do fewer rows to make it thinner. But for this bow, we're just making 2 identical pieces. And the only difference is we're not going to fasten off with a long loose end. So we're going to chain 1, and we're only going to cut our yarn about this long. And then pull through with our hook and tighten the knot. And here's our second piece. But if you do need a more detailed tutorial, you can go back and watch that over again, and I will have timestamps in the description below. So here are my 2 pieces, the top part of the bow and then the tail. And before we attach them together, I am going to weave in the loose ends on the tail part. So this one here, we're going to take the loose end and thread it into our yarn needle. And then to hide our loose end, with our needle, we're just going to go under the loops of the stitches right here, and we'll just run our needle through as far as we can. And then pull the yarn through, but don't pull too tight, just until it's taut. And you can go back this way, so go under the stitches in the opposite direction to make it extra secure, but since it's just a decoration, I'm not going to bother with that. I'll just trim the rest of it off. And then it's hidden. And then we'll do the same for this other loose end. So now the 2 loose ends on the tail piece are hidden, and we're not going to hide this tail on the top piece just yet because we are going to use it. So now we're going to set the tail piece aside, and we're going to take the top piece and we're going to fold it in half like this, and we're going to sew up the ends together. So again, we'll grab our needle, thread this extra long loose end into our needle, and we're just going to sew the ends together. So first I'll go into the corner on the further piece, and then into this corner of the closer piece and pull the yarn through. And then I'll work down a little bit to the left, go into the further piece and then to the closer piece. And we'll continue slowly moving towards the left, going under a loop on each side and pulling the yarn through. And then finally we have the corners. So now it's connected. Now we're going to make sure that the seam that we just made is in the middle. And then we're going to take this extra long loose end that we made and wrap it around the back. So it's gone across the middle. And then we're going to tie a knot with this loose end here. So start with one knot and tighten it. And then once it's really tight, we're going to tie a second knot. And now we can see the bow shape. And then we're going to take the tail and find the middle. And you can find it by folding it in half. So there's the middle. And then we're going to fold the top down in half like that. And then we're going to grab the top part, and since this side has the knot on it, I'm going to make that the back. So I'm going to flip it so the knot is in the back, and then I'm going to lay it on top of this part right here. And then we'll grab that long tail again and wrap it around the middle of both pieces. And we're just going to continue wrapping it around both pieces like this. After we go around a couple of times, we can tighten it. And then go again and tighten it. And then you just want to make sure your tails are even. So yeah, it looks pretty even. And if it looks good, just keep going until you have a little bit left. And then we're going to take this tail end, pull it to the back, and we're going to tie another knot. So make sure it's completely tightened, and then we can flip it. And we'll tie another knot. So tie one knot and tighten it. And then tie your second knot. So now it looks like that. And now you have your bow, and we just need to weave in our loose ends. So same thing, just thread the loose end into your yarn needle. And then we can go into the tail. Just run your needle under the loops of the stitches in the tail. And pull it through. Trim off the end, and then do the same for this one. So I just weaved in my two loose ends, and here is my bow. And if you want, you can add a little bit more shape to your bow by pulling this a little bit, and then you can also grab the ends and just make the ends a little bit longer than the middle. And there is your bow. And if you want to make it into a keychain, we're going to first connect the ring to the clasp. And then we're going to put the ring through the middle on the top, under those strands of yarn that we wrapped around the bow. And you can hold open the key ring using your yarn needle. And that's all for this video. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Also, a quick shout out to channel members Allison, Johnson, Taylor, Eilish, Nadine, Joy, and Stacy. You can become a member of this channel and have these little yarn ball badges next to your name whenever you comment, and other perks such as member shoutouts, early access to new videos, discount codes from my Etsy, help with any of my patterns, and connecting on social media. Thank you again to all my channel members, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.